What's up, and welcome to another episode of Mind of a Black Author. And today we're going to continue with our professionals. That's What's up, and welcome back to another Mind of a Black Author episode. And today we're going to continue our professionals talk, and this time we're going to talk about the quintessential question behind the actual storyline, and that is, are you Team Black Barbie or are you Team Tasha? And I promise you, by the end of this video or podcast, whatever you're watching or listening, I will give you my answer. And some people who've been with me a while probably already know what my answer is, but to understand this, we have to dig into the characters. So The Professionals is a comedy, or a romantic comedy if you want to call it, and it's about the workers in the Vercast call center, a lot of things that they go through on a day-to-day basis, and it's semi-based on a lot of realities that I witnessed throughout my time in a call center, as a call center worker. And one of the things that you always have in call centers, depending on where you're at, there's always a lot of drama. There's always a lot of who's sleeping with who. All of that goes on because it's just a chaotic thing. Now, if you haven't had any of that in your call center, then you haven't worked at a legitimate call center, because every call center that I've been a part of has had some sort of drama or whatever, just like this. So let's jump in it, though. We have to learn who the characters are. So Steve is the main character who is in between these two women. And the iteration is, Black Barbie is the girl that he's dating on every iteration, every story, depending on, because like I said, there's been a lot of different variations of The Professionals, but each one of them starts that Steve is dating Black Barbie. And Black Barbie is this sexy worker who works at the front desk, and she's every guy's dream, and Steve, even though he's a regular looking dude, somehow landed her. And so this is where the story really begins. And then Tasha is on Steve's other side. Now, Tasha, she isn't the glamorous one. She's cute, but she's more down to earth. You know, she wears a t-shirt and jeans and tennis shoes half the time, unlike the sexy Black Barbie who wears a lot of revealing clothes and heels and stuff like that, and has a very big sexual appetite. You know, so these are two different women, both who are something different to Steve in his life. So, you know, a lot of people always ask, were these people based on real folks? Well, let me give you a background here real quick. I'm going to start off with Black Barbie. So Black Barbie, she wasn't really based on somebody I knew per se. So a lot of things, and just to give you a background of The Professionals, the characters in the story, they basically make these nicknames up for different women in the call center so they can talk about them freely. So you had Bubbles, Black Barbie, Young Curvy, and things like that. And this was an actual real thing that we did. So there was a person in the call center I was working at that we called Black Barbie. And the reason we called her Black Barbie was because she was just astounding. Like, you never saw her wear the same clothes twice. She had the nice flowing hair down her back. She wore the heels, you know, in a call center, which I always had a problem with. It's like, why are you wearing heels in a call center? But, you know, to each his own. And so she was just this fabulous girl. I may have said two words to her, you know, one time, just talking about something random. But yeah, she was based off of that. So the character and her design is based off of that person. Now, the personality, I don't know. I didn't know her enough to actually get a feel of what her personality is. For all accounts I've heard, she's a nice person and everything like that. And we all know that Black Barbie isn't exactly the nicest person in the world. So she was slightly based off a real person. Now, Tasha also was slightly based off a real person, but not anybody that, again, I really dealt with. So the whole point of Tasha, and it's a story that came back in the first script, where Steve first met Tasha. And so Tasha came on the floor. She was just a regular representative. And just like in the book, the guys, they look at the new classes and rank the women. Yes, we were male chauvinistic pigs, you know, sue us. But I'm sorry, it's funny. But anyways, we had this one girl who was out in class and she had these big googly glasses. Hair wasn't done. She basically looked a hot mess. But I told the guys in the group, I said, I promise you, when she gets her first check or two in her account, she's going to look good. They laughed at me, said, she ain't going to look like nothing. And then she got her first check or two and she got rid of the glasses. I guess she had contacts at the point. Got her hair done, got her nails done. She actually looked like something, and all of a sudden dudes are draped over at her desk trying to holler at her. It's something that I kind of talked about. And in the script, the first script that I wrote the professionals, that's exactly what happened to Tasha. She was just a person who she didn't look like much when you first saw her, but once she got her check and everything together, she started to look fabulous and everybody wanted to holler at her. Now, that is all that I know about that person. I don't even think I ever saw her again after that. I don't even think she lasted at the call center that long, but that is the closest thing to where Tasha was in real life. And there was a love triangle going on that I wasn't even aware about. I had already written the professionals, and Black Barbie, the real Black Barbie, was actually involved in a love triangle with a guy that worked downstairs and another girl in our group. And so everybody thought the girl in our group was Tasha, who I was talking about. And I'm like, no, because I didn't even know who that this was all going on. But yeah, so there's a kind of just wanted to clear up that and just say these are who these people are based off of. Again, really just in design alone, not necessarily personality, because I didn't know these people personally, so I couldn't really say if they're like these characters or not. So just to get that off my chest. All right, so let's break them down to decide where I should go with. So I'm gonna go with Tasha first, since I always start off things with Black Barbie. So Tasha is the girl next door type. Like, she's the girl that you can hang out with your friends. She knows about all the different guy tropes and how they sexualize the women in the call center. She knows about all that. And her and Steve have this relationship. And she's a very flirty character, but she respects their relationship as friends because she really doesn't want to jack that up. So Tasha struggles with relationships with Steve because she's scared that she's going to screw up their friendship. That friendship means more to her than any relationship would. And she knows if she gets with him, things have changed. They could end up breaking up, not liking each other, and it would hurt her because she loves the friendship. Her and Steve just have this bond that everybody, pretty much thinks they're sleeping together, but they're not. They're just basically real close friends. Now, Tasha has a jealousy streak, not on the scale of Black Barbie, but she does have one, and she has a selfish streak too. So Tasha is all about her, and what I mean by that is she expects Steve to go all out for whatever she wants, so if she needs something, Steve, I need you to come do this, and he's tired, and he'll still go out his way for her. But she doesn't necessarily go out her way for Steve at a lot of times. It's basically based off of convenience. Like, she'll be there for him if it's convenient. So that's a flaw that she has, is basically she's very selfish with certain things. Like, she expects people to go all out for her, but she won't do the same for other people. So you kind of deal with that. Now, as far as looks are concerned, she's beautiful. She just doesn't flaunt it like Black Barbie and some of the other call center women do. She wears a t-shirt, jeans, tennis shoes. She's very basic. I think they made fun of her, called her Miss Kmart or Miss Walmart in one of the scripts. But yeah, she really doesn't. She mostly has her hair in a ponytail. She's not really trying to glamorize certain things. But when she does dress up and kind of glamorizes herself, she catches eyes. She really catches everybody's eye. And so, the guys accept her because she's just one of them. She's really down to earth and one of those people that you can joke with. She's not going to get offended on certain things. And, the only person who really knocks her looks is Malcolm. He calls her goober face, but he really, he's just a clown. So you can't really trust anything that he's saying. So as far as Steve's attachment to her, she is that person. She is the one that he can confide in. She is the one that, has him second guessing his relationship because he is in a relationship with Black Barbie at the time, but Tasha does a lot of things that just really, really, attracts him. And she's flirty, make no mistake about it. Like when she found out that he had the foot fetish thing, she wanted to tease him with it and all that type of stuff. And she really likes to flirt with him just to drive him crazy, only to laugh it off like it ain't nothing. And it is frustrating for Steve at times, but then when Steve wants to actually try to build something off of that, she kind of backs away like, no, I love our friendship. I don't want to change anything like that. So basically, Steve is everything to her but sex. So, she gets a little flirtiness off. She enjoys it. It is what it is. That's how Tasha is. So that's her character. She's a complicated girl to say the least, but hey, she has certain attributes that are really exciting with her. Now let's go ahead and jump into the illustrious, the adorable, the beautiful, the glamorous Black Barbie. So Black Barbie's real name is Tanya. So basically, Steve is dating her in every iteration when the story starts. Now, depending on the script version, the early script version, and the actual book version and current version, there may be people thinking like, how in the hell could you choose Black Barbie? Well, if we were talking about the original script, yeah, I probably wouldn't, because Black Barbie was pure evil. She did things that just did not make sense, as far as she was just toxic, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I do compare her now. Now, I will say this. I will compare Black Barbie to Cersei from Game of Thrones. And a lot of people are like, Cersei, are you kidding me? And I'm not talking about you book readers, so bear with me. I'm talking about just purely show. I'm sure the books, I've read some of the books, and yeah, she's a little different in the books, but I'm talking purely show. If you watch Game of Thrones and Cersei, all the stuff she did was either revenge on something that she was attacked first or was about to be attacked, or protecting her children. That's it. And I challenge anybody, name something that she did that didn't have anything to do with those two items. So name something that she did that she didn't want to retaliate or, protect her kids, or she's fighting, for people who are attacking her or getting vengeance on people who hurt her. You can't name nothing in the show that she did like that. So just throwing that out there. And so I always thought Black Barbie was similar to that. And of course, not as vicious, but, she just has that type of mind. So the Black Barbie that's in the book, that the one I'm going to focus on, she's a great girl. Yes, she's a little full of herself. She always has this perfect thing, just like the real Black Barbie in real life. She always makes sure that she looks good. She's very sexualized, and she likes that. Now, the thing about her is she is very, attractive, and she has a very vicious sexual appetite, which is what Steve loves about her. Although some guys, I will tell you this now, guys will say, oh, I want a woman like that, blah, blah, blah. But I had a guy, a coworker I worked with, and he got married to a girl that had a healthy sexual appetite. And he would come to work and like, she's killing me. Like, I can't take it anymore. Like, if you're not built for that, trust me, we all say, oh yeah, we could take it. But yeah, once you get it, it's a totally different story. So that's what you're working on when you're talking about Black Barbie. She has a healthy sexual appetite that can just break people. She has this Karma Sutra book that she uses, and she knows every position by number, and she will try every position as far as pleasure. She uses a lot of sex toys and things like that. So basically, she's a dream. She's a freak in the bed. She's very sexualized. She's beautiful, always has her heels on, tight-fitting clothes, revealing stuff. Now, as far as her personality, she actually is not as bad as people think that she is. And the reason I say that is because she really loves Steve. This is a girl who can get anybody. And, Steve is just a regular looking dude. And she actually, is attracted to him. And is not attracted to him because of how he looks, but the way that he treats her. Like, she really loves him, and that's where part of the problem comes in. Now, they do have problems throughout the series. And I think a lot of it just really is Steve just, allowing this whole Tasha thing to corrupt him. And by allowing that, basically what she's doing, or he's doing, is he's really just, just really playing with her emotions, so to speak. And, a lot of things that Black Barbie does is basically, some of the devious stuff and the toxic stuff that she does is based off of Tasha attacked her first. Tasha tried to take her man. Tasha is doing some things that a person in a relationship shouldn't be doing, with another person. And so Tasha allows that, the whole thing. And again, I'm talking spoilers of the first book. So if you haven't read the first book, there may be a couple things that you're going to hear here that you didn't see. That, if you put it like this, read the first book or watch the animated series. And so anyways, there was this whole thing where Tasha made Steve, they had a bet, and Tasha made Steve kiss her feet in front of the whole group. Okay, it was really done to humiliate Steve. But yeah, should he be doing that to another woman? Probably not. I mean, it is kind of disgusting, nasty, whatever you want to call it. And Black Barbie, she's just trying to maintain her relationship, and it's always Tasha, Tasha, Tasha. Like, they are too close, and Steve really needs to make a decision, and it was just a hectic relationship. She just really is just defending herself from this, heifer that just comes into a relationship. So you got to really think about that. Now, make no mistake, I will say this. Most of the problems that these characters have are based on Steve. I'm not a person who's going to say, oh, Steve, he's just a guy. No, Steve allowed a lot of this to happen. Okay. He should have set the tone at the beginning. He should have been respectful to Black Barbie. And if he wasn't interested in her anymore, he should have went with Tasha. But instead, he wants to basically keep both of them around. So there's even a part where they are engaged, him and Black Barbie, and he's still trying to, have Black Barbie and Tasha sit down together because he wants them to be able to maintain, some sort of decency with him being the main person that they're trying to get with, or trying to, keep their relationship, maintain a relationship. And so what guy would do that? If you're going to get married to a girl and she doesn't like this other girl, then you got to cut her off. I mean, that's just common sense. But Steve wants everything. He wants to keep his friendship with Tasha, even though he's going to alter it a little bit, but he still wants to be there for her. And then he wants to enjoy his life with Black Barbie too. Doesn't work out, and it didn't work out in the book. And if you've read the book, you know exactly what happened. Now, it may sound that everything's all good with Black Barbie, but there are a couple things that, she really does have flaws with. First of all, she's high maintenance. So, Steve basically, when they're planning the wedding and, doing different things, she is expensive as hell. And she doesn't care. She's like, this perfection comes at a cost. And so she's very high maintenance, costs a lot of money to keep her looking that good, and she doesn't care about it, and she spends money like water. It really, that's one of those things that when you're in a relationship, you either have to have that discussion like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be paying for this, but yeah, Black Barbie doesn't care. She's very high maintenance. She's also very petty and jealous. And so that also could be a problem too. Like, Steve could talk to another girl just in passing, and then Black Barbie's kind of getting her feelings. She's very protective of him. And so that's how this whole Tasha thing starts. Really, she wasn't a threat. Tasha wasn't a threat to Black Barbie. She kind of knew that they were a little bit cool, but she didn't know in what capacity that, their relationship was. And she didn't really consider Tasha a threat because Tasha, again, they look down on Tasha, her and her friends, because she doesn't keep herself up. She's not like them. She just, puts her hair in a ponytail, walks out the door. She doesn't make any effort to look good. Whereas Black Barbie and her friends, they're the sex icons of the call center, and everything they do is about, basically perception. So, she does get a little jealous and petty, and she's very vengeful too. So if you wrong her, she will come up with a plan to really mess your stuff up. And so that is one of the things you have to deal with when dealing with a person like Black Barbie, to know these types of things. And she has a problem with submitting to, she's basically an ego. She basically very confident in herself, and she really likes to run things too. So those are just a lot of the flaws that she has, outside of some of the things that she does good. So that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with her, which makes this whole decision a little more challenging. All right, so here's what you all have been waiting for. And I did this whole thing when I was doing the script series. I would always say, are you Team Black Barbie, Team Tasha? And a lot of people are always Team Tasha because she was obviously the better choice for Steve, and that is the case, in certain aspects. And the few people who were Team Barbie were just really just liking the name Barbie, or either that or they were always the type of person that she was, the glamorous type and things like that. So where do I stand on it? Well, if the relationship started where Steve wasn't with either woman, okay, let's say Steve walks into a call center or walks into a club or whatever, and these two women were available, and he had to pick right up front which one to deal with, then I would be Team Tasha all the way, because she's more relatable. She's more down to earth. She's not as, yeah, she's a little goofy and she flirts a lot, but if you're dating her, I mean, that's good. So it doesn't really matter for that part. And I just think that Team Tasha was the better fit for Steve in that scenario, because, they really do complete each other. Now, Tasha has a lot of secrets, and I'm going to tell you this right now. When the second book drops, there's a big major secret in there that Tasha has been holding back that Steve doesn't know. And so that might, knowing that might kind of influence me slightly, because Tasha expects all secrets that Steve has to be told to her, but she's not telling him anything. And so that's the type of person you're dealing with. So yeah, there'll be a lot of arguments between me and Tasha if I was in that situation, but overall, they complete each other. I think she's a better fit for Steve as a person, and I think that they can have a lot more fun. And I think they, their relationship already, just, the whole toenail painting thing that he does for her and things like that, I think, there's something to build on with that relationship. So in that situation, I am definitely going with Team Tasha. However, and this is a big, big however, if you're going into the situation where the story actually starts and Steve, or in this case, in this scenario, me, I'm dating Black Barbie, and, I'm already dating Black Barbie before Tasha shows her interest, I'm going to definitely be Team Black Barbie. And the reason why is, yeah, she's a little vulnerable only with you. She shows a side of herself that she doesn't show to everybody else. Really, Black Barbie is the I don't want to say the centerpiece of a relationship or anything like that, but she is what she is, and she does have feelings, and she really does care for Steve in the situation. But the problem is that Steve gets distracted by Tasha. Now, in a situation, if I was in that situation, Tasha wouldn't register to me because I've already committed my time and my relationship to Black Barbie. Now, I will be a lot broker trying to keep that perfection up, and I get that, it's going to cost a lot of money, but Black Barbie is a good catch. She may not be Steve's catch in the first scenario, but if we're talking about let me rephrase that. In the first scenario, Steve probably would be attracted to Black Barbie because it's all sexualized. But after the sex, what is there left? And I think that's what a lot of people don't really understand is with Black Barbie, there's a lot left. There's a lot of good things. She is very loving to him. She really, cares about him. Their relationship means a lot to her. And she opens up to him like she's never opened up to anybody before. Now, she does have a history of sleeping around, prior to that. But since she's dated Steve, she hasn't did anything. She really does care about the relationship. And so if I'm coming into a relationship, I'm already with her, then I wouldn't entertain Tasha. That's just me. But, I could see why Steve has his conflicts, because they do have different arguments on certain things. But Steve cannot have everything that he wants. And I think that's part of the problem of Steve. That's what's causing a lot of the issues that they're having throughout the story. But overall, in that situation, I definitely would be Team Black Barbie. And I know I did not answer your question because you're given two scenarios. In each scenario, I picked a different girl. So if I had to sit here and just line them all up, this is very difficult because these characters are just really, they're opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're basically two good women. Like Steve's point, and it would be my point too, I'm trying to combine the best traits of both of them into one complete woman. It it will be perfect. But you're not going to get that in any relationship in real life or fictitious life. So if I had to pick, just flat out, no situations, no scenarios, just flat out, who are you taking, Black Barbie or Tasha? I am going to select Team. And just before that, always hit me up at www.enigmakid.com. That's www.enigmakid.com for those who are listening. Yes, I wanted to throw that out there because I know I have your full attention at this point. So, give me Team Black Barbie. I'm going to go with Black Barbie. And the reason why is there's a lot of selfishness that Tasha does. Like, you really want somebody who's going to be there for you, the same way you're there for them. And I think Tasha, and I'm talking about the first book only, I think she drops the ball with that. So there was a time where Steve had got arrested. And he calls Tasha. Tasha doesn't pick up the phone because she's in the midst of doing whatever with Terrence, the guy she was dating at the time. And who was there? Black Barbie, in the middle of the night, getting up, bailing Steve out. They had a discussion before that, and they really got to an understanding because at that point in time, they had really broken up, and, Steve still reached out to her and she still was there. Black Barbie has a lot of flaws, but she was always there when Steve called for her. Whereas Tasha, she's there when it's convenient, and that really means a lot to me as a person. I want to be with somebody who's there when I need them. Like if I call you and say, I need you, I want you there. Just like the same, if you called me and said that you need me, I will be there. That's the type of relationship that I'm looking for. And while I think Tasha can build to that eventually, I just don't feel that, it would get there fast enough. Like Black Barbie will give you that once she's into you and she loves you, she will give you that right off hand. Whereas Tasha, we have to work towards it. Plus, Tasha has a lot of secrets in the second book that come out, and that will kind of sway me too as far as the way I wanted to approach that. So just think about that. There's a couple things about Tasha that, yes, essentially I still think that she's probably the better fit for Steve. But if I was in Steve's shoes, I'm going with the girl who was always there for me. And then there's a big opportunity that Black Barbie has in the second book as well that's really going to change her life and Steve's life. And it kind of carries on to the third book as well. So yeah, that's who I'm running. I'm going to run with Black Barbie. I'm going to be Team Black Barbie. I think she is the epitome of certain things. And yes, you're going to look past a lot of that. Like she's very expensive to deal with. The pettiness and the jealousy, as long as you're on point, you don't have to worry about that. So if I was in that situation, as long as I don't entertain any Tasha or any other woman, then that part of her wouldn't come up, the whole pettiness and stuff like that. We'd have to work on the relationship because, I'm not going to let you run the entire relationship. And I think she would eventually, if Steve really did that in the book and said, hey, we're going to do this, that, and this, she would probably bend to his will, so to speak. And, a relationship is going to be two sides. So there's going to be give or take. And she would have to give a lot more than she gives in the book. And the whole sexual appetite thing, that would be intriguing to any guy. But I'm going to tell you right now, that would probably wear me out. Because she is just too much. So that would have to be kind of metered a little bit. So there'll be a lot of things you work on, but I would definitely go with Black Barbie. That is the team that I'm running with. So have you read the first book? Did you enjoy it? Who are you running with? Are you Team Tasha or are you Team Black Barbie? As always, let me know in the comments below. And again, hit me up at www.enigmakid.com. That's www.enigmakid.com. And I'm going to put some of the links of some of the animations and things like that. So if you haven't checked those out, please do, because it'll give you a lot of good insight on Black Barbie, Tasha, Steve, and this whole professional world that I created. But as always, it's your boy Enigma. I'm going to sign off. Check out the professionals today. Deuces.